So, welcome. We're in 2023. As most of you know, or don't know, I've been trying to get to America for I don't know, the last 6 years, let's call it, and I've sent a car here, sent a car back to Australia, and then probably a year ago we finally made the move. We're like, damn, we got the cars here, let's drive. Well, that last year threw plenty of hurdles in my way. Just generally moving to another country is actually kind of rough. So we got everything done. We're kind of at a decent spot now. We've got a house to live in. I've been working on this barn flat out, got that pretty close to functional. Went and picked up this car that we started 3 years ago now. We started this car. Corey and Jelani helped me a lot with this. The plan was to go Pro 2 at the time, Pro Spec, whatever. We were doing a twin turbo LS setup in it with a sequential and a pedal box and a steering column. And now pretty much no sequential, no pedal box, no steering column for that class, no right-hand drive conversion. So this car's kind of rendered useless for that series. So I actually did have a Pro license at one stage, so we just kind of don't really know what to do, to be honest, with that car. So I've got some plans. There are a lot of events. Compared to where I live, we only had 2 tracks basically, and if you wanted to drift more, you were traveling a day or 2 at least. So where we are now, I'm in Michigan. If I had a budget for it, we could basically drive every weekend, at least once a week. So that's pretty sick, but it's probably not going to happen this year, but we're definitely getting to the track. So I'll give you a run through of what the plan is. We have one running car. So my Barra Ute here, it's actually a running car. Running, driving, as you would have seen that little time lapse, we pulled it out, turned it around, brought it in, put it on the lift. So you may want to know what it's doing on the lift. Of course I'm not doing something sensible. It's the only running car, what would you do? Pull it apart. So we've been debating what to do with this transmission. It's a TR6060 from Australia. It's a built box. And if I break it, there's no more of them here. I'd have to get one sent over or wait for parts. So we're going to pull the transmission and sell that. Got someone lined up for that. And we're going to put a dog box in this car. Seems like the logical thing in my little brain. So we've got a bell housing on order, custom bell housing. We're going for a G-Force GSR. As you can see, the transmission tunnel on this thing's actually kind of huge. So, yeah, there's plenty of room. It's going to fit easy. So we'll get this transmission out. Hopefully the bell housing arrives in a couple of weeks. We're basically about 6 weeks away from the drift season. So get this transmission out, get the new one in, build a trans mount, modify the tail shaft, and gearbox should be kind of sorted, maybe build a shifter. So that's not easy, but it's not the hardest thing. There's nothing hard about what's going on with this. All this is getting is a new transmission. Engine's solid. It's been running for about 1.5 years now. We're going to keep using that engine. I do have some other plans for putting a backup engine together, but for now we're just going to use that engine. I want to actually be ready to roll at the beginning of the season. So engine's good. We'll get a trans up behind it. May have to muck around with the clutch to get that trans sorted because the input shaft's actually different size, but we'll deal with that problem when it comes. So that's that. And Fuel Lab's come on board for this year. I actually haven't got a bunch of sponsors here. We've kind of just been laying low, trying to get our life sorted. So Fuel Lab, I've been working with them for a while. They've come on board. We're going to put this bad boy in the car. At the moment, we have just issues, a really old school setup in it. The car was originally just for testing purposes, basically, make sure we could get this engine to hold together, and we've been pretty successful with that, so it's going to get some upgrades. So we got this pump, pretty stoked to have them on board. So one really nice thing with the Fuel Lab stuff is the current draw is actually exceptional for the amount of fuel that flows, for the current you draw. It's pretty sweet. So we're going to set this up. We're probably going to hook the Motec up to it so we can control the pump as well. So should be pretty sweet. You'll see that in the next couple of videos. So they're the main changes for the Ute. So basically a fuel pump, transmission, full service, check it over, nut and bolt it. That thing should be good to go. Then we got the E92, which I've had for actually quite a few years now. It's been together. It was originally some crazy idea I had. I was like, yeah, I'm going to build a pro car. So we built it. Then I got all excited, went from a single turbo to twins because we wanted to do some race wars with it and a couple other events. And I decided that going to pro Formula Drift was not in my budget of working as a normal guy trying to make it happen. So, and from another country and all the other hurdles, I was like, all right, you better forget about that for now. And I actually haven't driven too much in the last few years, to be honest. So you'd be hard pressed to turn up there and really do super well, in my opinion. So we got this car. Where the plan for this season is a few shootouts with it. There's like a lot of money shootouts in the US here. So the plan's to try and get to some of those shootouts and you know, see how you go. If you're not doing well at shootouts, then probably no point going to a higher level of drifting anyway. So we're going to take this thing to some shootouts. This isn't going to be getting any huge amount of work done. Basically, the valve train is usually the thing that cops it in this car. So we'll check that valve train out. We do have a sweet company in Houston, Texas. Hooper's Head's come on board for this year as well. So super stoked with them. They'll be nice to have some cylinder head support. Yeah, they're big LS guys, so pretty stoked with that. So we'll do that. So this car is basically full check over. I got a new winter's diff coming for it. So we get that in. And this car could actually be a driving car. So valve train, full service, new diff, good clean. This car will be ready to go as well. So that's basically the next 8 weeks. Predominantly, we need to get all that stuff done. Doesn't seem like a lot, but I got other stuff I want to get done in this barn here, which you'll see in the next few episodes. But we're at a stage now where we really have to get this done. So, and then we got this car here. This is the one I was talking about. We started for Formula Drift Pro Spec. It doesn't meet any rules. It really doesn't meet any rules for any of that series. So we don't actually know what we're going to do with it yet. We've got some ideas, but for now we're going to just cruise along, work with what we've got, maybe reach out to some people, see if they'd be willing to come on board with getting this thing going, and yeah, probably put it together as a pretty sweet thrasher car, just something that's like fairly competitive, get me very comfortable in an E92 chassis, and generally just beat on it. So yeah, that's an update. That's what we're doing for 2023. We'll give it a very good shot of making it happen. So yeah, well, you guys can follow us along on the journey.